Hi guys, so in this video, this little video, I'm here to tell you that even I get it wrong sometimes. Sometimes things don't always go to plan. Sometimes it's my fault, sometimes it's the weather, sometimes it's the birds. And I've no way of knowing exactly why we've got this issue. So, this was renovated maybe 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, something like that. When we came here a couple of weeks ago, all of the bottom end hadn't come through yet, and it's because that part of the garden's actually in shade, but it's now coming through and it's starting to thicken up. It's still a little bit thin down this bottom end, as you can see, so we're just going to see how it gets on in the next couple of weeks, and if it's not all through, then I'm going to put a bit of extra seed on. There's a little patch there along this edge and just down here. So it's as though nothing was ever even done here. So what can actually cause this? So let's talk about things that I could have done. I may not have scarified heavily enough. Can we see soil? Yes, we can see soil. So I've definitely scarified heavily enough. What if I didn't put seed there? Which is ridiculous. But if I didn't put seed there, nothing's going to grow. Now this was covered in compost 4 or 5 weeks ago, but obviously it's all gone into the ground now and broken down, which is what it needs to do. So basically it's pretty much poor preparation if that was the case. Other things that can cause it are heavy rain and heavy wind, and also birds. If it was birds, you'd see more of a patchy effect, but this seems to be a whole area here. So I'm putting it down to either wind or rain that have caused this to happen. Now, if the wind is coming from behind the house this way, the house is providing some sort of shelter. If we've had heavy rain, it could have been pooling up there. And same with the wind, it could have blown some of the seeds. And if that was the case, I would have expected some grass seeds to germinate along the edge of this wall. We've also got an issue with ants coming through. So overall it's improving, and from a couple of weeks ago it's come on hugely, and it looks so much better from 2 weeks ago. We've just cut it for the customer, and actually in the main it looks pretty good. I'm really pleased with it, with the outcome on this. It's just that area there which is a shame. Obviously for future reference we could consider putting netting or mesh down just to stop birds from getting to it, and also to help reduce any heavy rains getting down and washing the seeds, because if you get heavy rain it will lift the seeds up and make them float around, and if that is the case you'll tend to find that the seeds wash to the sides, and you'll get a growth of really thick grass around the edges, as in what you see with dogweed burns, and I don't see that in this occasion. The only other thing it could be is potentially something under the ground, like some hardcore rocks and stones. I don't know enough history on that, but let's just have a little look. So I've just got my core here. Just going to push down and see what happens. Okay, the soil's absolutely fine. So what else could it be? There's only one more thing really that it could be, is watering. If the customer stood with a hose pipe at the corner and put it all up here, sorry. So the only other thing it could be is if the customer has stood down at the bottom corner with the hose pipe and they've just sprinkled up and not actually put enough seeds on at this top, not actually got enough water to this top section. That is something that kind of rings a bell. Potentially, but I need to speak with the customer regarding that. So it's either died off with not enough water, or it's been too much water or too much rain, or I didn't put any seeds there. Finally, the only other thing it could possibly be is if some of the seeds were no good. And this does happen from time to time. Around 10% of grass seeds every single year will actually die off and fail. And this is when they've been stored in your garden shed or wherever. So the longer you keep the grass, the worse it becomes. Potentially it's some of that. And this last year we left the bag open in the shed and some mice actually got in. So they were eating some of the seeds. There were some mice droppings in there. There could have been some mice urine which may have affected the seeds. So I expected some issues, but a lot of the lawns I've been to that I've seeded with the same seed have all come through just fine. So I've actually just got off the phone with the customer, and what she's going to do, she's going to wait till autumn. She has a number of plans this year, which means she won't always be available to water. And plus, with it moving into summer, if it's not got plenty of water in while it's germinating and then plenty of water in for a few months afterwards, it could struggle and suffer and cause dieback. So she's quite happy to wait. She's not bothered, and that gives the lawn a chance to start thickening up. And you never know, some of that might actually come through. So we'll have a look and see what it's like over the next few months. And yeah, all good. So if you've enjoyed this video, appreciate if you give us a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you're not a subscriber. Any comments, pop them below. Thanks for watching.